Our meat chickens are 3 weeks old now, and as soon as the cold weather breaks this week, we're going to be moving them from the brooder into the chicken tractor. Before they can go out there though, we have to build a new feed trough for them, and we're going to do that today completely from recycled stuff laying around here on the farm. Now, something that's kind of funny about our setup here, the gutters on this barn are completely useless. The roof overhangs the gutters so they don't actually catch any water, and even if they did, there's no downspouts, they don't ferry it anywhere. So I've just got these random pieces of gutter up there that don't do anything until today. I'm gonna go rob one off of that and we'll go from there. So this gutter here is going to serve as the feed trough itself, and we want to make these feeders 4 feet long, so we're going to mark 4 feet. This is not going to be perfect. This is an old gutter. We are not trying to do this to be pretty or anything like that. We're just doing the best that we can with what we've got, trying to spend as little money as we can. So we're going to cut this piece down, and actually we will have, hey, we could have 3 4-foot feeders if we really wanted to. Might save that one for another day. But the first thing we got to do is cut this down. It's just shattering. That, the Sawzall is not going to work. This is just shearing or shattering. We're going to try the shears, and maybe that'll work a little better. That works much better. You can do that with a set of hand snips as well, if you had a pair of 10 snips, but since I have that for the drill, obviously I'm going to use that. Link in description. I've gone ahead and marked the shape of the gutter on this board. These are going to serve as the feet. If you had a hole saw, you could just drill through that. I mean, a 5-inch would probably work. But my saw is not deep enough to actually cut all the way through that. So we are going to take this over to the shop and use a jigsaw to cut that out. But if you had a hole saw that would do it, you could do it. We're just mostly eyeballing this. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're feeding chickens. It's fine. Typically, it's wise to not cut toward your hand. So do as I say, not as I do. Just got to do that a few more times now. I just used a couple pocket hole pan head type screws to hold the gutter new trough now into the legs. For the end caps, we're just going to use some offcuts of OSB. It'll give this thing a little bit of extra stability while also keeping the food from spilling out the end. Just gives a little extra, you know, rigidity that direction. I am really excited about how these feeders turned out, for just being able to put them together in a couple of hours, but it shouldn't have even taken that long between walking back and forth to the shop and gathering things and stopping and doing all that other stuff. That went together really quick. They're not supposed to hold up forever, and they're not supposed to be pretty. Megan used the term farm perfect earlier. I think that's a great way to put not just these, but a lot of the stuff that we do around here. Things don't always have to look great to be functional. This is going to work really well for what we're going to do. It's going to live, you know, in the tractor with the birds. They're going to be walking on it and doing all this other stuff. So even if it was well built, it may not hold up forever or for a long time. This is going to be great. And again, didn't cost us anything. It's all scrap stuff that we have, or in this case with the gutters, something that we have to replace anyway. And even better, if we end up having to build another one to make sure the birds have plenty of food all day, we have another piece of gutter. I don't have to pull it off the barn. I've got another scrap piece that we could use. This is our first time raising meat birds, and these Cornish cross chickens are 8 weeks from hatch to butcher. What we've wanted to do is provide a weekly update of the things that have happened, things that we're looking forward to, anything that surprised us, kind of providing a first-timer's take on raising meat chickens. If you wanted to do this and are not really sure where to jump in, this is our first time doing it, and if we can do it, I think you can. At week 1, we started putting the birds on the scale so we could get a weight. I wanted to track their growth and see kind of how much they grew each week as they prepared to butcher. We were using a container. I had to get a bigger Tupperware container because they've outgrown that smaller one. Last week they were getting really close to a pound. They're going to be over it this week. I wonder how far they are, how much further above a pound they are. Let's go check it out. It's really dark in the brooder because I've got a tarp over the hardware cloth wall of this thing. It blocks a lot of the light, but it does help hold some of the heat in. We just transitioned the birds from the chick start over to meat bird feed. They're 3 weeks old. It's time to start doing that. To help with that transition, we're cutting their feed. Right now for a few days, what we're doing is half chick start and half meat bird feed instead of just shocking their systems going from one to the other. We felt like it was a better idea to kind of ease that transition rather than make it just a one hard transition. Just make that, I don't know, a little bit of fluff factor there, I guess. £1 pound, 2 point something. £1 pound, 1.8 ounces. Ooh, it's a big one. 1 pound, 3.9 ounces. So I'll average those weights up, put it up here on the screen for you to look at. Grown quite a bit, not quite as much as I thought they would have, or I was expecting them to, although I want to check that against some of the charts that you can find online, see what they were supposed to have gained, and see what they're doing. They're outgrowing that spot a little bit, but with the cold weather, we've got one more night of it tonight. And by the time you see this, it'll already have passed, so they'll be in the tractor, hopefully, by the time that you actually watch this video. It's important that those birds have plenty of room to grow. They've probably been just a little too cramped in there for my liking, but again, we're dealing with adverse circumstances here with the weather and things, so it won't be much longer. They'll be out, and we've got a lot of brooder space in there, but we're still getting it set up for our purposes. I am really excited to get those birds out of the brooder and into the tractor, whereas they move around the pasture and that thing, they're going to be pumping a whole lot of fertilizer into the soil, which is going to benefit everything else that we do around here. If you're interested in seeing some of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We've got a playlist here or a video there that you can click on and watch. My name's Reagan. This is the GWP Homestead. We'll see you soon.